We'll recognize next Zoe Lee.
So I came here yesterday and I asked the non-black aldermen to please see if they can go to the deputy commissioner, building departments, Grant Urall, whatever name is, Ulrich, Marlene Hopkins, building commissioner, Maurice Robinson, Jason Lee, Kim Roberts. And again, I want them to ask, why did they think the city of Chicago owned my building that my family's had the deed since 1972? That's why I still need that. But I feel like I know why. I feel like I know why. You know, my mother has a degree in marketing and finance, right? And my mother in 2017, Tax Cuts and Job Acts signed in law by former President Donald Trump created opportunity zones.
A seeming godsend was part of President Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, opportunity zones.
I thought, God, you've opened up the windows of heaven.
So what are opportunity zones? Supposedly low-income census tracts chosen by states that you get a capital gains tax break to invest in.
First, you have to have a capital gain.
David Wessel has written a whole book about opportunity zones, or OZs. Only the rich can play, since only if you're rich do you have an asset worth enough to invest with or pay taxes on if you sell it. But, says Wessel,
you sell that asset and you get to defer capital gains taxes on that initial sale and get a discount on the capital gains tax. Then you take those profits and put them into an opportunity zone fund, hold that for 10 years, and you don't have to pay any capital gains whatsoever.
So the proverbial tax break for the rich. But if they're investing in a needy neighborhood, what's not to like? OZ promoter Jill Homan.
The question is, are people just in it to make money? Then the answer is, sure, there are investors that all they're focused on is making money in opportunity zones. But you know what? That's okay. And investors, as a result of it, are more inclined to look beyond traditional areas of investment
to down and out areas craving investment like East Baltimore.
Pastor, please.
Which is why Pastor Hickman agreed to a photo op with the president in 2018.
Mr. President, I am here today thanking you in advance for funding and resources that you will direct to the urban and distressed communities like Baltimore.
And in fact,
so this is exactly what opportunity zones were meant for.
A project in West Baltimore to convert a block of bombed-out row houses into retail on the first floor, housing above. The OZ dream. So what do you think about giving tax breaks to rich people to rebuild something like this?
I think it'd be great.
We need it. It's definitely needed here.
If all the opportunity zones in the country were like this one, I wouldn't have any complaint. But only a small fraction of them are.
In fact, says Wessel,
there are 8,764 opportunity zones across the country. In 2019, 84% of the opportunity zones got no money at all, and half the money went to the best off 1% of zones.
Tens of billions invested so far. This project got about $1 million.
This is roughly the price of one condo in the Ritz-Carlton complex in downtown Portland.
And that is also an opportunity zone project.
Yes. So the point is, opportunity zones can be used for their intended purpose, but there's no requirement that they do so, unless the law or the regulations nudge investors. Most of the money will go to projects that probably would have been done otherwise, or in areas that are already drawing capital because they're gentrifying. A developer sees this as a cheap way to get money. An investor, following the law, gets a tax break. The Treasury loses the revenue, but the stated purpose to help poor people in a poor community is completely lost.
This is going to be 89 units of multifamily housing, all on this strip of land.
Okay, let's end back at Pastor Hickman's poor community, in which he is trying to work wonders.
We just purchased that building. We're going to completely gut it and renovate it and turn it into a workforce center. where we'll have a barber training school, we'll have a demolition training school, CVS pharmaceutical training. Just across the street, we purchased 3 liquor stores out of the community.
Where more housing will go, and on the next block, a laundry's been demolished to make way for a huge health and wellness center.
A $32 million project that an opportunity zone could have paid for.
And did it?
We've met with all kinds of investors, all came with the terminology, opportunity, mission-driven projects. But the mission was all about how much money they could make out of a project. Can we get our 10 to 12%? But when it turned out that the project could not yield the kind of interest that they wanted, then there was no opportunity for us and there was no interest from them.
So how much opportunity zone money has actually come into the community?
Not one single dime. Not one single dime. Not one single dime.
But the church is forging ahead with grants and other financing, just as they did with the senior housing center that rose from the ashes. Which prompted one last question. How much of a difference would it have really made to have opportunity zone money since you're doing this anyway?
Communities like this don't have a lot of time to be on a respirator. We've been working on this project for the last 5 years. Opportunity zone monies could have gotten it done within a year.
This program provides tax incentives for investments in designated low-income areas, allowing investors to defer taxes and receive a tax advantage if they hold their investments for at least 10 years. These benefits can attract rich developers to support policies that maintain or expand such incentives. My building was demolished, unlawfully demolished, 2017 in an opportunity zone with the TIF money too, right? The money that my mother was asking, because she has a nonprofit and we had a building, so she could fix the community up. That was the whole purpose. I know y'all hate Trump and all that, but we're gonna take the emotions out. That was the whole purpose of Trump doing that, to help our communities get what it needed. Communities get what it needed. Communities get what it needed. But instead, the majority of the aldermen, black aldermen, sold our properties and our land to these millionaire and billionaire developers, knowing that they don't have to pay no taxes till 2036. And if he gets back in office, they won't be paying taxes until 2056. That was supposed to be for us, for our communities, to help our communities. So when people say, what has Trump did for black people, the opportunity zones, that these rich developers are taking our properties and land and giving it to these aldermen. Y'all are getting all these kickbacks for it. I watch all this TIF money. Y'all talk about these opportunity zones. It's y'all. But you want to talk about taxing? Go get these undocumented families off of each corner and tax them. Them stolen goods coming from Macy's that they selling on the corner, tax them.
Thank you.